y'all, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be providing commentary on The Matrix Reloaded. As I said in my previous Matrix video, this is not a review, this is more so some commentary. I'm going through watching all the Matrix movies over again in order to refresh myself so that when the latest one comes out I will be ready and understanding what's going on. Now this movie started out just like how I like it, with Trinity kicking some butt and not even taking names. She has this scene when she's jumping through the glass and she's falling and she's shooting at the secret agent and he's shooting back, bop, bop, bop. Then she gets hit and then she falls to her death. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, dang, at the beginning of the movie Trinity died. But then Neo woke up and it was all a dream and he don't want to tell Trinity about what he saw. Now one of the things that I forgot, because like I said, when I first watched the Matrix movies I was very young, that's why I'm going back and re-watching everything. In this movie Morpheus wasn't the big dog in charge. Matter of fact, he's just a captain. He has a commander over him, and then there's a council over them. There's a whole bunch of people in this equation, and that's not Neo and his crew that are fighting against the secret agents. It's other captains with crew as well. They had a whole different person steering the ship, navigating the ship this time, and I'm like, where is Tank? Come to find out they done killed Tank off the movie. Oh my goodness. So at the end of the first Matrix movie, Tank was alive, but somewhere in between the first movie and the second movie he died. And then I did some research as to what the heck went on or whatever, did some digging online, and I found out there was some conflict between the actor and the studio, so he wasn't included, and yeah, just a bunch of drama. I was like, dang, they killed this character off, I guess he can't come back. So the new person that they have navigating the ship is Link, and Link, he's very intelligent and he questions Morpheus. Morpheus don't like to be questioned. He's like, yo, you got to trust me. Like, I know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? So in this movie I realized that Morpheus, his belief in the oracle and the prophecy is kind of like some outlandish stuff, which, you know, some people in, you know, the world that we live in right now have beliefs that everybody doesn't follow, and the oracle is kind of like looked at as like a fortune teller. He believes that Neo is the one. There's a large following that also believe that as well, but then there's other people that don't believe in that type of stuff. The war against the machines is still on, and everybody is not taking orders from Morpheus. Matter of fact, he's supposed to be taking orders from his commander, but he's out here being rogue, doing his own thing. And him and his commander, Commander Locke, have beef over Niobe, who is played by Jada Pinkett Smith. I enjoyed seeing so many more people of color in this Matrix movie as opposed to the first one where they didn't really have a lot. I like that this movie featured a lot more fighting scenes than the first one. They don't know it yet, but the machines have actually upgraded, and I'm thinking, it's my theory that the reason why they upgraded is because at the end of the first one, Neo actually got inside of one of the agents and like blew him up, but like his energy got inside of it. So like, as opposed to a person dying, this is a machine, so maybe, you know, it served as an upgrade or something like that. I don't know, just my theory. I think it all stemmed from Neo entering his body. The machines fight harder than they did before. Their fighting skills have improved. They're able to replicate a lot faster and a lot more. They had a fighting scene with Neo after he had went and spoke to the Oracle. I just think that was so funny, because like the Oracle, her god came and tapped her on the shoulder and she was like, okay, it's time to go. Like, the Oracle had to have known that the secret agents was coming, and she could have gave Neo a heads up, but she didn't do that though. And I was like, that's messed up. She got out. She got out of Dodge. And then Neo up there fighting the secret agents, and then it's just more and more and more coming. But yeah, in this movie, Neo has realized his powers a lot more. He kind of like Superman, up here flying around and doing all this craziness. I'm like, you go, Neo, realize who you are, realize your inner self, realize your greatness and your full potential. I know that's right. The Oracle done told Neo that he gotta go see the Keymaker, go get the Keymaker. The Keymaker is being held captive by this rich Frenchman. So Neo and his crew, they go sit down and have a civilized dinner with this man. and he's sitting up there playing games with them and stuff, and he done put some type of potion or some type of bug or something in this woman's cake, and she's sitting there and she eating it, and she has the big O while she's sitting there eating it. He watching it and he telling them what's going on while he's describing it. His wife sitting there, and I'm like, what in the heebie-jeebies? And then she goes to the restroom. And you know, shortly after that, the French man tells Neo and them, like, I ain't giving you the key maker, basically. And he's like, you know, I got something I got to go do. So he gets up, and of course the wife is like, where you going? And she already know where he going, you know what I'm saying? So she gets upset. Neo and his crew like, dang, they about to leave, and she like, you know, y'all want the key maker? I can help y'all get the key maker. She takes them to the back, and she's like, yeah, I just want a kiss from you, Neo, knowing that he with Trinity. I'm like, she on some get back, you know, because she mad because her husband over in the bathroom, you know, doing what he doing with that lady. So she's trying to get revenge with Neo, and I'm like, but he with Trinity, you know what I'm saying? You ain't thinking you about to do this in front of Trinity. Trinity ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So Trinity like, and she was about to put a bullet in the lady and everything. But Neo was like, okay, all right. You know, then they had that passionate kiss or whatever in front of Trinity. I was like, oh my goodness. And this lady is just as sick as her husband. She lead him to the key maker and everything, and as opposed to, she ain't really trying to help them. She just like chaos. She's an agent of chaos. Then her husband and his crew come up because she done shot one of his security guards, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And all his folks got superpowers and everything. They fighting against Neo and stuff, and they had this epic car chase, and then they had twins who look like they're like albino, but they white and they had locks. But yeah, so they going after Trinity and Morpheus, and they got the key maker. The key maker like, I ain't going back. After they done freed him, he's like, I ain't going back. That fight scene and that car chase had me on the edge of my seat, and I was just like, they need some help. Get them some help. Where's Neo? Neo need to come. Help. And Jada and her crew, they on their way to try to find Morpheus for them. And I'm like, they need some help. Help them. But yeah, the martial arts that they were using, of course, it was great. Just like how it was in the first one, but it was like even turned up a notch. And it was just so funny, like seeing the different animation, and it's just like, the animation is, but then you look at it like, this is the early 2000s, and that's like how animation was back then, but now it's like so much more advanced. So I can only imagine what the fight scenes are going to be like in the most recent one that's about to come out. Once all the fighting and the chase is over with, Morpheus and two of the other captains, which includes Nairobi, they have a discussion about what they need to do, as far as Neo has to like walk through a room, and the key maker has the key to the room, and the teams have to work together in order to like stop the power source so he can get in. They have like a small window of time, and of course Neo has had dreams about walking through this door, and he knows that, you know, Trinity in the dream, she dies or whatever, so that's not nothing that he's looking forward to. Neo has asked Trinity to stay back at the ship and not to enter in the Matrix or whatever. He doesn't want her to be involved. He doesn't want to tell her why, but he doesn't want her to be involved because he doesn't want the possibility of her being killed. And I'm just like, excuse me, sir, she was a soldier when you met her. She was out here risking her life and doing this and that. So how can you expect her not to be a part of this fight that's so critical to you all's survival? How can you ask her to play the background in order to keep her safe? Like, that's very selfish of you. Like, understand that you love her, but part of loving her is accepting her and understanding what's important to her. And sometimes that's going to have to be you making difficult decisions. And of course, as things start to go left, Trinity makes the decision. She enters back into the Matrix. But of course, by that time, Neo doesn't know. He walks through this door and he meets the architect. I can remember parodies of that scene back in the day. They used to have parodies on different like comedy shows and stuff like that, of like Neo walking into a room and different people would pretend like they was the architect. But anyway, at the end of that long drawn out speech that the architect gave with big words and all of that, basically Neo has two choices: walk through one door, save the world, basically walk through another door to save Trinity, and like basically you gonna try to save the world, but the world is definitely gonna probably end. So of course he gonna walk through the door and try to save Trinity. He beats all odds and actually does save her. At the beginning of the movie, when we saw her falling out of the window shooting, that was actually a flash forward to the scene. It actually happened when he walks through that door. So as opposed to in his dream and Trinity falls to her death, he catches her. He pulls her to safety up on the rooftop. And I like how they like had that scene where he had to go inside her and pull out that bullet out of her, because it was very reminiscent of in the first movie when he had the bug inside of him and they were in the car and she had the machine and she went inside of him and she pulled the bug out of him. But yeah, and then she dies and he actually reaches inside of her. He massages her heart and he's speaking to her just like how she was speaking to him in the first movie. He's like, I'm not gonna give up on you, basically. I love you, come back, da da da. And she comes back and I was just like, oh. Meanwhile, the city is under siege and the machines is tearing everything up. People is dying left and right. Few survivors. This movie is basically getting you ready for the Matrix Revolutions, which is what I'm getting ready to watch now. But yeah, it definitely got me pumped. I'm like, okay, I'm getting up to date and everything, and I'm ready to move on to the next one. All right, you guys, well, I hope that you all enjoyed the video. If so, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see some more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.